Very good morning, children, and welcome back once again to our recorded classes. This is Mamana Rajshekar, your English teacher. So, are we ready for today's session? You'll be wondering what we will be doing today. Let's see in the next slide. As you all know, your Essay 1 is nearing. We will do some revision, children. I have completed all the portions for you all. I have also given you class test from all the lessons, and also grammar definitions have been given, and your notes also is up to date. So let's start off with revision from today till your essay 1 begins. So we will not do all the lessons revision today. We will only do revision for the lesson The Tree Fairies, The Trojan Horse, the poem Waiting at the Window. Let's get started. Let's start with the first lesson, The Tree Fairies. How many of you know the story? You all remember? Yes, very good. Now, for those of you who do not remember, we will quickly do a recap. I'll just tell you the whole story in short. Okay. So there was once a farmer who was looking for a piece of land to grow his crops, which is corn on one side and yam on one side. So he was searching and finally he finds a land by the edge of the forest near the riverside. So what the farmer did, he saw that the land was good, but there were a lot of trees and small plants grown. So he wanted to clean all that. So he started cleaning. The moment he started cleaning, what happened? He heard a voice. What did the voice say? The voice asked him, "Who's that cutting down our bushes?" Then suddenly the farmer was surprised because he didn't see anyone in the farm. But he knew these were tree fairies and they were good natured. So very politely he said, "I'm a farmer from the village and I've come to prepare, or I've come to clean up this land for my crops, to grow my crops." So immediately there were several other voices who said, "Can we help the farmer?" And all the tree fairies together helped the farmer in cleaning up the land. The field was so clean that he didn't have to do any work. The farmer was very happy. He went home. The moment he went home, his wife asked him, "How was the day?" He said, "Good." And she also asked him where the farm was, but he didn't tell her. Okay. Why he didn't tell her? Because he knew if he tells her, there would be some mistake from her end and everything will go wrong. So the next day again the farmer went to the field. So this time he had to cut down all the tree stumps. Okay. If you can see the second picture. So when he went to the farm, when he started to cut down the tree stumps, again the fairies asked, "Who's that?" Again he told the same thing. Then finally the tree fairies helped him in cutting the tree trunks and also arranging them neatly, like the picture I have put up over there. Right? Then it was time for him to plow the field. This work also was done by the tree fairies. Next, when he went to sow the seeds, the tree fairies did that also for him. He didn't have to do any work. Only thing, he was very happy. Only thing what was worrying him was his wife kept on asking him where the field was. That irritated him the most. Let's look at the next slide. After a few days, the farmer went to the farm to see how good his crops had grown. When he went there, he was so happy to see that his crops was grown better than his neighbor's crops. So he went home happily thinking that his wife would have prepared good supper for him. But unfortunately, when he went home, she didn't cook anything. When he asked her why she didn't cook, she said there was no firewood and I didn't cook. The reason was she wanted to see the farm. Immediately now the farmer became very lazy because all the work was done by the tree fairies. He only used to sit and come back. So he didn't want to go all the way. So he told his wife where the farm was and even asked her to come quickly. And he also took a promise from her telling that She should not utter a word when she goes there, nor she should answer any questions. The farmer's wife readily agreed. She promised and she ran to the farm. When she went there, she saw that the crops had grown so well. What she did, she cut a piece of yarn and said, "Very soon it'll be good enough to eat." The moment she cut the corn, she heard a voice. Who was that voice? It was the tree fairies. The tree fairies asked, "Who's that breaking our corn?" She forgot her husband's promise and said angrily, "It is not your corn. Whoever you are, it belongs to my husband." Then she went near the yams and she started loosening the soil. Loosening the soil means she started seeing how the yam was grown. And again the voice was heard, "Who is that uncovering our yams?" She immediately said, "These belong to my husband. I shall uncover as many as I wish." Immediately there were several other voices which said, "Can we help the farmer's wife break the maize and uncover the yams?" And then immediately, the moment she could close her eyes and open, the whole farm was destroyed. She didn't see anyone in the farm. She was terrified. She was shocked to see what had happened. Immediately she started crying and she ran back to the village. The farmer saw her and he knew something has definitely happened. The moment she went, the farmer asked her, "Did you talk anything?" But she was not in a position to answer him. The farmer ran to the field, and what a sight met his eyes. He saw that his beautiful crops that were grown were all destroyed. He cried, "Help, help!" But the tree fairies didn't reply, nor did he hear anyone. And then the farmer and his wife came back to the house, and the farmer said, "Next time I will not trust the tree fairies." And the farmer's wife said, "I will not break the promise again." And poor thing, because she didn't cook anything, there was no supper. They couldn't eat anything, and they slept without food. Now, we learned three things in this lesson, children. Very important thing. First one is you should not be lazy. Try and do your own work. Don't depend on others. Secondly, do not trust anyone easily. The third one, do not break anyone's promise. Hope the lesson was interesting, isn't it? Now comes question time. I'll ask questions and you'll have to answer. You all heard the story, isn't it? Now, Nirnai, answer these questions. What did the farmer know about the
The
tree
farmer
fairies?
knew that the tree fairies were generally good natured.
Good. Why didn't the farmer's wife cook supper for him?
Farmer's wife did not cook supper for him as there was no firewood in their house.
Good. Antonyms of difficult.
Difficult, effortless, easy.
And antonym of promise.
Promise, break, denial.
Excellent, Nirnai. Keep it up. Round of applause for you. Now, Sudiksha will recite the poem Waiting at the Window, the first six
Waiting at the
stanzas.
Window, written by A. Milne. These are my 2 drops of rain, waiting on the window pane. I am waiting here to see which the winning one will be. Both of them have different names. One is John and one is James. All the best and all the worst comes from which of them is first. James has just begun to ooze. He's the one I want to lose. John is waiting to begin. He's the one I want to win.
Very good, Sudiksha. Ananya, tell me the summary of the poem Waiting at the Window.
Waiting at the Window was written by Alan Alexander Mill, also known as A. Mill, was born on January 18, 1882 in Kilburn, London. A. Mill was a prolific English author of books, plays and poems. A. Mill died on January 31, 1956. Waiting at the Window contains a chance narration of a race. between two raindrops. The poem begins with the speaker stating that there are two raindrops on their window and they are racing to the bottom of the glass. The boy is waiting to see which the drop will win. He names these drops John and James. He wants John to win and James to lose. James had just begun to ooze. John is waiting to begin. Then John is moving very fast. James is moving slow. Then John has hurried quickly. James was talking to a fly. At last, John has won and the sun is back and the child is free to leave the house.
Perfect. Very good. Keep it up. Children, quickly turn to page 13 in your all-in-one reader, The Trojan Horse. Jennifer, start reading.
The Trojan Horse. Many, many years ago, the Greeks were at the war with the Trojans, a very large Greek army in no less than 1,000 ships. The Trojan Horse. Many, many years ago, the Greeks were at the war with the Trojans, a very large Greek army in no less than 1,000 ships had sailed to the city of Troy. A fierce war broke out between the Greek army and the Trojans. It went on for 10 long years. Several brave chieftains on the both sides got killed, but still neither side was in sight of victory. The Greek leaders began to think of some way to put an end to the long war. The only way to defeat the Trojans was to enter the city somehow and make a surprise attack. But the city gates always remained closed. After a lot of thinking, Ulysses, the cleverest of the Greek leaders, came up with a bright idea. Ulysses called his carpenter and gave him some instructions. The carpenter began his work. He worked for 40 days inside a big tent. No one saw what he was doing. Just before sunrise on the 41st day, the tent was taken down. There stood a huge wooden horse.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. After this, you all know what happened, how the Greek entered the Trojan with the help of the horse and destroyed the whole of Trojan and won the war. You all know it, right? Hope you all are reading your lessons and the question answers regularly. Now, I'll ask you a question and David will answer these for me. David, tell me, why did the Greek find it difficult to defeat the Trojans?
Difficult to defeat the Trojans because they could not enter the city as the city gates remained closed.
The carpenter worked for 40 days. What did he make?
The Greek carpenter worked for 40 days inside a tent and made the huge wooden horse.
Where were all the Greek soldiers and their ships hiding?
The Greeks and their ships were hiding behind a hilly island.
Synonym of surrender and destroy.
Destroy, demolish, surrender, give up.
Excellent, David. Very good. Keep it up. That's all for today, children. In the next class, we will do revision in English grammar, which is the sentences and nouns and its kinds, and also the poem, Coromandel Fishers, and the lesson, God is Love. All right? Children, hope you all are aware that your Essay 1 is starting on the 12th of this month. Please prepare yourself well, children. It's time to study. Do not waste your time. Go through your reader, read the lesson, understand, and then answer your questions. For grammar, go through your definitions, okay? And see that you all maintain your diary as well. And in the next class, get ready for the questions coming your way. Before I end this session, a sincere thanks to all the children who are a part of this video. I once again want to thank you all children for the effort that you all have put in. And a big thanks to all your parents for their kind cooperation. Without your parents, this video wouldn't have been this effective. Thank you once again, children and the parents. Until we meet in the next class, this is Ma'am Anna Rajshekar signing off. Take care, children. Bye bye.